What is a legend? Is it a machine that outlives its era, or one that defines it? For the Indian Air Force, that legend has a name, the MiG-21. Born of necessity, it became the spearhead of India's air power, shaping battles, strategy, and generations of fighter pilots. The MiG-21 was born in the Soviet Union in the 1950s as a basic clear weather interceptor. This was the aircraft India chose in 1962. The MiG-21 F-13, designated Type 74. Pilots and the technicians learned their trade on the new fighter in the freezing cold of the Soviet winter, before the first MiG-21s thundered across Indian skies in April 1963. But the Indian Air Force already knew it wanted more from the new Delta-winged jet. Improvements to radar and weapons followed with the MiG-21 PF Type 76, before the definitive MiG-21 FL entered the service in 1966. Also known as the Type 77, this variant quickly became the backbone of the Indian Air Force. Induction and production of the Type 77 wasn't without issues. The lack of integral gun to supplement early generation missiles was a point of concern that was only partially rectified by the time storm clouds of conflict loomed over the subcontinent in 1971. The IAF's innovation carried the day. Gun pods were fitted to several MiG-21s, and 3 aircrafts were even modified with gyro gun sights to increase accuracy. 1 aircraft was also modified for the photo reconnaissance role, a risky role, but suited to the speed of MiG-21. The ingenuity paid off. Flight Lieutenant Bharat Bhushan Soni shot down an F-104 starfighter over the Gulf of Kutch using the gyro sight. Squadron leader Kirpal Singh flew recce missions that brought back vital intelligence. And of course, in the east, rockets fired by MiG-21s over Dhaka precipitated one of the greatest military victories in the annals of modern war. The MiG-21 played a pivotal role in the 1971 war, crippling Pakistani airfields on December 6th and 7th. On December 14th, 4 MiG-21s led by Wing Commander Bishnoi struck the governor's house in Dhaka, paving the way for Pakistan's surrender in the east and cementing the aircraft's legacy in Indian military history. When asked why General Niazi, the commander of the Pakistani forces in the east, chose to surrender with so much of his army still intact, he dramatically pointed to the wings on the chest of a nearby IAF officer and said, "Because of this." Air power has rarely contributed so directly to an adversary's surrender. New variants joined in to safeguard Indian skies over the following decades. The MiG-21M, aka Type 96, longer-legged and more versatile, was inducted in large numbers from 1973 onward. Supplanting the Type 77 on the production line at Nasik, the IAF leveraged the new Type 96 to make it the backbone of fighter recce and the nucleus of a fledgling electronic warfare capability, in addition to its core air defense and strike groups. The ultimate in the evolution of MiG-21 finally arrived in form of the MiG-21 BIS, the most powerful engine, longest range, and the most advanced avionics of the MiG-21. Designated Type 75, it was natural that this most sophisticated variant of the MiG-21 family would be the most numerous in IAF's service. A decade-long production run would see it through the late 1980s and provide a sure footing for the eventual Bison upgrade. But first, the MiG-21 would stare the enemy down again and again and again. On 10th of May 1984, Wing Commander A.K. Talwar, CO to the number 26 Squadron, touched down in a MiG-21 BIS at Leh, where fighters had rarely ventured. Operation Meghdut was upon us. and the IAF was about to dominate the Himalayas to deter any Pakistani designs upon the Siachen heights. Knowing is half the battle, and the number 101 Squadron answered the call. Their CEO, Wing Commander Jeffrey Mackerel, led a two-aircraft MiG-21 Recce formation that streaked unchallenged over the Skardu airfield. A reminder to the Pakistani Air Force that India had control of the sky. 2 years later, with tensions high during exercise Rastax, the MiG-21 as the backbone of the IAF stood on alert all along the Western Front, ready to intercept enemy aircraft and deliver devastating strikes should the need rise. Even as the latest variants were patrolling the skies along the borders, venerable order marks were being passed into the training role. From 1986, the ad hoc MiG Operational Flying Training or MOFT syllabus was formalized in a dedicated training unit, MOF2, the largest and most heavily tasked MiG-21 unit in the history of the Indian Air Force. MOF2, later joined by OCU, would go on to produce generations of skilled pilots to fly not just the MiG variants, but all combat aircrafts of the IAF. For a quarter century, the MiG-21 would be the both mainstay of the IAF's combat power as well as its training capacity. The MiG-21 would prove its mettle once again in the summer of 1999. The Type 96 from the number 17 and the 108 Squadron relentlessly pounded enemy positions on the ridges above Kargil, while the Type 75s of the number 51 Squadron lived up to their responsibility as the guardians of the Kashmir Valley, ensuring that the skies were clear of enemy action. On the 10th of August 1999, the Type 75 shot down a Pakistani Atlantic maritime patrolling aircraft which had breached the Indian airspace in the Gulf of Kutch. A comprehensive final upgrade ushered the new millennium and the last chapter of the MiG-21 service in India, bringing together technologies from India and around the world. The IAF created the most advanced avatar of the MiG-21. It was called the Bison. The world soon learned that a half-century of service is hard-earned. In February 2019, a MiG-21 Bison at the hands of Wing Commander Abhinandan Vartaman intercepted a large package of Pakistani strike and escort fighters over Kashmir and proceeded to shoot down an F-16, several generations more advanced, but still susceptible to MiG-21, kept contemporary and flown well. It is a mark of the commitment of the IAF's personnel and the fortitude of the aircraft that mere months before its retirement, the MiG-21 Bison stood on alert to defend the skies of India during Operation Sindoor in May and June 2025. For over 6 decades, the Air Force exploited the humble MiG-21 across roles including air defense, ground attack, maritime strike, reconnaissance, electronic warfare, and more. Most of these capabilities were not even envisioned by the jet's original designers and were a result of Indian innovation and ingenuity. Today, in September 2025, the result speaks for themselves.